everybody, Mrs. Harwell here. We are going to do our chemistry enrichment. So you're going to need this packet that looks like this and a pencil. You're going to need your balloon. Make sure you blow that up and tie it off. You got a little baggie of confetti, and then you should have 2 strips of plastic in your little black bag, but if you don't, just go ahead and cut them in half, your long strip in half, and then we'll get started. Okay, so remember we've been talking about the study of chemistry, which is a study of matter, the things that make up our world, and inside that matter are tiny little particles called atoms that we can't see unless we use a high-powered microscope. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how those atoms are made up. Well, they're made up of 3 different pieces: protons, neutrons, and electrons. Important to know, protons have a positive charge and electrons have a negative charge. And if you have an atom that is perfectly balanced with protons and electrons, then it's called a neutral atom. The reason for that is that, like I said, positive charges and negative charges, excuse me. So if you have 2 positively charged atoms, they will repel, they will not connect. Like does not attract like. If you have 2 negatively charged, they will not attract. Like I said, if they're the same, they don't like to come together. However, if you have both a positive and a negative equally charged, they will attract, okay? We're gonna do some examples to show you how that works today, but remember it's important that negative and negative won't attract, positive and positive will not attract, but positive and negative, they like to stick together, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do, and I want you to go ahead and go over your handout, see if you can answer these questions here, okay? But then you're gonna flip over to our experiment, okay? So you're gonna get out your piece of plastic and you're gonna run your finger across it a few times. Now what you're doing here is when you have your plastic just at first, it does not have, it's a neutral, okay? And when you do this, the static electricity is taking some of the negative electrons, excuse me, the negative electrons, and transferring them into the plastic bag. So we're gonna see what happens when we touch and have our finger in the plastic bag. If you see, it tracks. It's kind of hard. And if you don't get it good, you can do it a few more times just to show you. See how it's just moving towards my finger there? There you go. All right. So what was happening is we were transferring, like I said, electrons from our hand to the plastic bag, which made it have a negative charge. And since we lost some of those negative charge to the plastic bag, we now had a more positive charged finger, and positive and negative attract. So that was our first experiment. Next, we're going to move on to see what happens if we charge a piece of plastic and put it against something that's neutral. Because remember, when something is not charged, when the protons and neutrons protons and electrons are equal, then it becomes a neutral. So if we charge our plastic bag here, do you see? It attracts to the table there. So what we're doing is when we move the plastic bag closer to the table, again, just like when we use the static electricity to transfer, it also transfers something on a neutral object. And so some of the positive charge will hop over to the table, and now this becomes more negative charge and they attract. Now, remember we said that positive and negative like to come together, but positive and negative do not. Now, what if we were to take 2 of our strips of plastic bag and we're going to charge them? So again, you're going to rub your finger down there a few times. All right. So, and as we're going through these simulations, guys, go ahead and pause the video and you can fill out your worksheet. So as you can see, our bag doesn't want to come together. So there's 2 negative charge. Like I said, if it doesn't quite work through the first time, gave it a little bit more of that negative charge. Might need to give it just a bit more. And then we're gonna see that they don't like to come together. They wanna stick away from each other, see? Awesome. All right, you guys can try that at home too. And like I said, go over your worksheet. You'll notice that the back section here gives you a section to put, did it attract? Did it repel, excuse me? And then try to explain why that happened based on what we know now about positive and negative charges, okay? Our next to final, I should say, experiment, we're gonna use our balloon here. And again, right now our balloon is neutral. All right, and we're gonna see, I'm gonna use my little camera assistant guy here. And I'm gonna take the balloon and you're gonna rub it on your sweater, or I'm gonna rub it on his head. And we're gonna see what happens with our Betty here. Easy. Now you'll notice, just hops right on there. All right, again, why do you think this happened based on what we know about the positive and negative charge? Okay, so I now have a little video I'm going to share with you guys. All right, this big. I really wanted to do this with you guys, and you'll have a chance to do this at home. You're going to want to charge your balloon and see what happens, but I couldn't do it very well with what we had, and my sink's a little small. So you notice the water is being attracted to the balloon. So what does that tell us about the water? Right? So based on what we just learned about positive and negative charges, what we're gonna see here, I'm gonna go ahead and read my notes here, you guys, to make sure I don't miss anything. So you held it near you're gonna do this at home too. Hold it near the stream of water, and you'll notice that that stream bent towards the balloon. When you rub it on your hair, you can rub it on your sweaters, it gives it a negative charge. And when you brought it near the stream of water, the electrons from a balloon repelled onto the electrons in the water. And since there are more protons on the surface of the water and it has a positive charge, it attracts, and that water actually wants to move towards that balloon. So like I said, the basic parts of an atom, protons, neutrons, and electrons. And protons and neutrons, in order for them to come together, they need to have equal positive and negative charge. So if they're positive and positive, negative and negative, they're not going to attract. So hope you guys enjoy this and have some fun experimenting with different parts of your pieces, of your activity. You can try it on maybe on the wall of your house and see what that tells you as well. So, all right, but I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.